Hi, seniors. Welcome to Senior Capstone. I'm so excited to finally get started with your tech course this year and get you going on creating amazing projects and an amazing portfolio. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about what Senior Capstone is and what you can expect. So, Senior Capstone culminates your time with ITA. So, it is what ties it all back in together. So this is your tech course and you get to take ownership of what we are doing. So the goal of this course is that by May, you will have a portfolio, so a professional portfolio with 3 independent tech projects that you create. Now these projects can be anything you want them to be, as long as in some way you can relate them back to tech. One thing that I always tell students is that to think about things that they feel very passionate about. So maybe you feel very passionate about climate change, and that is what you want the themes of your projects to be. So maybe you want to do an infographic on climate change and you tell us a little bit about it. Maybe you want to do some interviews with some of your classmates and people that you know are your friends, and maybe you make a video out of that. That could be a project. Or maybe you really want to know more about climate change and you do an entire research presentation and you record yourself doing that. That could also be a project. Now, your projects do not necessarily have to have a theme. That is just an idea to get you started. But if you decide that you want to make a podcast on sports, or you want to do a book review video, or you want to create a movie with your friends, or you want to design a website to sell jewelry or things you make, you can do whatever you want to do as long as we can agree on the requirements and we can agree that they are meeting the expectations. So I just tell students to think of a theme to help them get going. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. I do highly encourage you to make projects that you feel passionate about, because a big part of Senior Capstone is learning how to work independently and learning how to work on a timeline and meet certain deadlines and be able to hold yourself accountable for these projects. So while I will be checking in with you periodically and you will have deadlines, this is very much just you on your own making these. So you want to make sure that you're picking things that you are going to see through. So if you did not enjoy maybe coding, I would not encourage you to make an entire website from scratch, because you will not be holding yourself accountable to finish that. So again, think of technology topics or activities or things that you like to get you going. Now, the 3 projects are a big chunk of your portfolio, but it's not all of your portfolio. You will also have other components like a resume, an About Me page, and a contact form. And these are all things that we will talk about later, but that is just to give you an idea of what it is. Now, with Senior Capstone, there are certain things that we have to meet and certain things that we have to do. So these are some of the expectations of Senior Capstone. So you have to complete all of your work. Again, I will be checking in periodically with you, but you're responsible for doing these things on your own. You have to have 100% to pass this class. So unlike your other courses where maybe you could be able to pass with an 80%, in this class you have to have 100% in order to successfully graduate ITA and be eligible for your scholarship. So very important that you are reading my comments, that you're checking in with me. I am always available to give you feedback. My goal is for you to have 100% by May, but you also have to put in the work. So you are staying on top of your work. You have to complete your 3 tech projects and you have to complete your portfolio. As you see, it's 5 pages. So you have an About Me page, you have a resume page, a contact page, and then you have pages for your tech projects. Now, there's different ways that you can make your portfolio. Like there's different ways that you can design it, and maybe you will have more than 5 pages, maybe you have less. As long as you have all of the required components, it is okay if it's less. And the most important thing is to communicate. Again, we will be having deadlines and we will be having things, but I can't help you if you don't communicate. So if you're having issues with completing your projects, if you're having issues with getting ideas started, come to me and let's have a conversation about this. You're really working on time management and creating your time management skills, which are going to be extremely important as you move into college. Be open to showing your progress. You will notice that a lot of your assignments, I will be asking you to turn in drafts. So it's not going to be a full project, but I want to see where you're at. So you have to be open to showing us what you have. You should be utilizing all feedback that you get. There will be several chances for you to get feedback from me and from your peers, and I highly encourage you to take that feedback. A lot of the times when I'm giving you feedback, I am looking at the rubric that I have to use in May to grade your overall projects to give you feedback. So the nice thing about that is that you get to fix things and improve your portfolio as you're going. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of that. Be respectful. Understand that everybody's picking projects that they feel passionate about. Maybe you're not passionate about them, but we do have to be respectful. And I highly encourage you to finish with time to spare. So our end goal is the beginning of May. Now, if you get done before that, that's awesome. However, you do have to absolutely be done by the beginning of May. Reason being is because I have to have all of these graded and ready before graduation so that, again, you're finishing ITA and that you're in good standing for your scholarship. Now let's talk about how are we breaking up your portfolio. So if you notice, we're starting later in the fall. The reason why we do this is because we want you to spend a lot of time on your college applications, and then we'll really pick up on our portfolio. So for your first release, you're going to be sending me an email and CCing a parent or guardian of your choice, and you're going to tell us what 3 projects you're hoping to accomplish this year. So which 3 tech projects you're thinking and what you're going to do, and how you're going to hold yourself accountable to meeting deadlines. Okay? Then you're going to be setting up most of your portfolio. So we are just setting up the bare bones of your portfolio. This will allow us to have a clean slate to work through and to put our projects in. Now, by November 11th, your phase 1 draft is due. So at that point, I want to see anything you have. So if you're recording a podcast and all you've done is create the outline for it, or you just have the raw audio and you haven't edited it, at that point, that is what you turn in. So I want to see where you're at. And then by December 16th, your entire phase 1 project is due. And all projects have a write-up. So you will be doing your project and the write-up. And that needs to be in your portfolio completed by December 16th. Now this will end your fall semester. So again, we're starting very slow. Now, when we think of your spring, that is where it starts to pick up. So by February 3rd, your phase 2 draft is due. So you have a long time between December and February to create your phase 2 draft. I typically encourage students to use that time and make their phase 2 kind of their longest project. If you're planning on shooting an entire film, if you're trying to film something that takes a long time or take photos that takes a long time and you need progress, that is a great project to utilize for things that take you a long time. Then on February 17th, your full phase 2 will be due, and there will be a kind of a quicker turnaround with your phase 3. So by March 3rd, your phase 3 draft will be due, and then about a month later, your entire phase 3 project will be due, and that will be April 7th. Now, by April 21st, I want to see your portfolio draft. What does that mean? That means that you will take the rubric that I will be using in May to grade your entire portfolio, and you will be going through it, and you will be finalizing details in your portfolio, and you will be checking your spelling, and you will be making sure that you have met all of your requirements. Then you will turn in your portfolio on April 21st. What happens then is that I will sit down as a first pass to your portfolio with the rubric to give you feedback on anything that you need to fix to get full points. Some of you may be completely done by that time. That's okay. Some of you may need to make changes to your portfolio. That's okay. That is why our absolute last deadline is May 5th. So by May 5th is when I have to have all portfolios in. And they should be portfolios that are ready to get 100%. So that is kind of the timeline in which we are working. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Nina, what am I using to make this portfolio? So we are going to be using Wix. You will notice in your release that you have a complete Wix walkthrough video that helps you get started. Watch that and then get started on your portfolio, like your bare bones. And then also make sure that you're emailing myself and then a parent or guardian telling us A, how you're going to hold yourself accountable during the school year to get 100%, and then B, what 3 projects are you thinking of doing? Now, let's talk a little bit about your Canvas course and show you a little bit of things. So when you go into your Canvas course, this is your homepage. You will notice that everything has changed in the looks of our Canvas courses, and this is to make your navigation easier. So you have your homepage, and then you have quick links to anything you may need. Now, if we go into modules, we have student resources right here. You have your course introduction and the syllabus. Now, the syllabus walks you through when everything is due, not only for this class, but also for your academic class. Highly encourage that you go through that. And in your course intro, it also goes through a lot of the things that I have covered in here. And then we get into this release. So this is your first module. So you have your video that you are watching, you have your presentation. Now, these 3 links right here are really what sets up your senior capstone experience. So take some time and read through them. You have your overview and expectations document, and this tells you everything that you need to do. So it tells you what are the components of it, what goes into each page, what kind of questions you're answering in your write-ups, some example portfolios that you can look at and get some inspiration for, and then overall capstone expectations. And then, just like your syllabus, I also break down a timeline for the entire school year. So very important that you look at that. The next one is your capstone checklist. Now, this is a checklist that I've created on what we are looking for on each project, on each page, and it gives you something that you can look at, and as you are editing your portfolio, you can go through this and make sure you're meeting all of the deadlines and all of the things that we're looking for, and make sure that you're hitting everything that's on this checklist, because that is what gets you to 100%. Now, the other thing is your portfolio criteria. Now, this is kind of the same as your checklist, but it's just a different way of showing you what we're looking for. Okay. Now, I look at the portfolio criteria, and I really look at your capstone checklist to grade your portfolio. So again, I'm giving you all of this now so that you can utilize it to make the best portfolio you can. Now, right here, you have your Wix walkthrough video, which is going to show you how to set up an account in Wix, how to get your portfolios going, how to have bare bones. Right here, you have your receive email from student assignment. And again, it tells you everything. So you're sending myself and a parent or guardian, and you will tell us like how you're going to be successful and what your 3 projects are. And then you will have your portfolio set up. Again, this walks you through everything. So you create an account, you begin editing, it tells you what needs to be in your About Me page, how to update your contact form, how to continue to like edit certain things, how to do your resume, and then how do you turn it in. So very important you read through all of that. Now I have added some resources right here. So you have your senior capstone project idea starters, which walk you through some things that students have done in the past. So it might be a good point if you're feeling stuck on not knowing what your projects are going to be. I would definitely look there. And then you also have more portfolios from previous years. Now, this is everything that you should need to get you started. If you feel like you need more help, make sure that you email me and you can come to a student hours with me or make a different appointment with myself and another instructor, just so that we help you. Our goal is to help you and for you to be successful. So make sure that you're watching all videos, make sure you're looking at everything, and that you're meeting your deadlines. That is all for this release, and I will see you in the next one.